Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of the Powered Cube on Arena, our chance to play with cards from the history of the entirety of the game, featuring all of the strongest cards from that whole history, including the Power 9, hence the name the Powered Cube. Very fun format with super explosive decks and super crazy nonsense. Without further ado, let's just get back into it. I am not a personally huge fan of any of the stuff in the opening pack, so I kind of just want to take some really flexible fixing, which is a fetch land here that can pull out a triome or dual land from your deck and end up played in pretty much any color pair. So I'm going to grab the Arid Mesa here. None of the non-land cards or anything super exciting to me, although Red and 6 can be pretty gnarly. Kolaghan's Command for the 2-for-1 is great. They are very good spells, just not exactly my cup of tea. So we'll start with the Arid Mesa. There's a Flage, which is a very strong card for Boros, which is a great archetype. There's also Tinker, which I'm probably too big of a fan of. Really, really do love that stuff. We've played a lot of blue decks on this return trip. We've played exclusively blue decks on this return trip so far. So maybe we do go ahead and lean towards the aggro this time around and actually play a bit of a variety here. I think this is a pretty good pack to take an aggressive card, right? Because if we take like Flage, the next best cards, people are going to take an Atraxa, and then a Tinker, and then a Damnation. There's a chance, there's enough like decent aggro cards that are like solid cards but weaker than the non-aggro cards that we could wheel another aggressive card for Boros out of this pack if we take the Flage now. Pick a number 3. Nova Hellkite is fine, and then the Oust is a way to get rid of any blocker no matter how big it is. They're going to gain some life back, but Oust is still very good removal in a format where a bunch of people are cheating things into play by reanimating or show and telling or any kind of that crazy stuff, natural order. So it's still really good, but I think we want to take the Hellkite and really look for non-life gaining removal. Pick 4. There's a Dion and a Wandering Emperor that are really nice here. I think I prefer the Wandering Emperor. Just a lot of good value over the course of a game. Dion feels like a tiny bit slow by cube standards. Speaking of a little bit slow by cube standards, like another 5 mana spell for what is wanting to be an aggressive archetype seems a little weird, so I'm just going to take the flash in Samwise here. Cheaper card. Unexpectedly Absent. That is like the Oust that doesn't gain your opponent life. Deals with a creature no matter how big it is, any permanent no matter how big it is. Sure, they redraw it, but if you're targeting like a 9 mana card they just tinkered for, they're not about to recast it. So Unexpectedly Absent does play really well. I like that here over Fire Blast and Sacred Foundry being really awesome. Prismatic Ending's good too. That's a really good pack. I'll take the Unexpected there.
What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
This is exactly what you want to see when you're trying to draft Boros. Red, white duel, white, 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 red. This is a 8-card all Boros pack. We could take pretty much anything here and be happy. I think I want to take the cheapest of the creatures right now and just grab Thalia. But these are all excellent. I actually might go Plateau. I'm going to go Plateau here. I changed my mind. I want to make sure I have really good fixing. I already have double white, double red, and double white. This is a double red, double white. We have some really restrictive costs. And if Boros is that open, that we're going to see a pack of just 8 Boros cards, then we can spend picks pretty highly on mana because we know we're going to get solid filler creatures and stuff later. Whereas the lands can get cut by other players that are actually splashing around and playing a lot of other colors. And that was late enough that there's no way to wheel that Plateau. Detective's Phoenix, Flying Haster, comes back from the grave later to get more Flying Haste damage, or like the Ground Haster, just take some haste damage here. But again, cheaper is generally better. We're going to focus lower on the curve. Robber of the Rich or Thraben Inspector or Esper Sentinel, exactly the stuff I wanted to wheel here by sending a bunch of great signals in other directions. The Atraxa, the Damnation, the Tinker. Actually, I think I want to go for one of the 1-drops. There's less great 1-drops than there are 2s. I'm going to be annoying and take Esper Sentinel. Now we do get an Oust. I'll still run it for now. Unless we get a ton of other removal, we probably still play Oust. Even if we are aggro. Wheel the Dion and the Mind Collapse, the only Boros cards here. Mind Collapse could randomly be... You know, I'm going to take Mind Collapse. That could be kind of crazy late. Like, imagine turn 5, play a Nova Hellkite, and then cast a Mind Collapse for free. Having a 0 mana removal spell the turn that you're trying to kill your opponent sounds kind of legit to me. Okay, pack 2, pick 1, we get the Fury. We can get a big double striker and kill a bunch of stuff in the same turn, or we can evoke it, play it early if our opponent has stuff we need to kill early. Card is great. Flame Slash and Elite Spellbinder, also great. We'd love to wheel one of those. Every part of my being wants to take a Trinket Mage for absolutely no reason. I don't know why I got so excited when I saw that card. There's something wrong with me. I'm still thinking about artifact decks for no reason. Lelia and Reprieve are both excellent, excellent cards. It's actually pretty fierce competition. It is really nice to have interaction like Reprieve in Boros aggro, because then like you get to dump your whole board, get all your damage in, and then whenever they finally do have the mana for the board wipe, you just Reprieve it and they just die on the spots. It's also good at reprieving Tinkers and crazy stuff, but Lelia can single-handedly kill your opponent and draw a bunch of cards to play a bunch of other stuff. This is an immensely difficult choice. I'm really low on creatures right now. I'm taking a lot of good spells. I think I'd take Lelia over... Well, I'm going to take Reprieve over Lelia, because Lelia is more likely to wheel with how the draft has gone. Reprieve is just not going to wheel, because even if nobody's in Boros, somebody could just be like blue-white control and take that. Now we take a lightning bolt. We're going to get punished pretty hard here if Lelia doesn't wheel, because now we just took 2 more non-creatures in a row. We do need to up the creature count a lot. But Reprieve is straight up going to be one of our best non-creature spells. Yeah, I mean, we have enough good non-creature spells that basically the rest of the draft we can just spend taking creatures now. Creatures and lands. Creatures and lands, there's Inspiring Vantage. Although Fear Missing Out is great. It's the best creature for us here, for how quick it hits the board. Take the FOMO. I gotta get creatures in here. Maybe we'll wheel Vantage, probably not. Chandra's a pretty solid Planeswalker, but we still really need to be working on the creature half of things, and we'll probably wheel the Chandra anyway. Maybe the Verge. We did it. Pick 6. We found our first non-Boros pack in a century. Just throw an Overlord in the side. Abandoned Air Temple's a really good land to have if you run out of spells, or if you want to do something that affects the board that's not counterable, like it's not a spell. I like Tursa and Figure of Destiny and Swiftspear, but I feel like they're a little bit more replaceable. I'm going to take Abandoned Air Temple here. Giver of Runes is wonderful, another very playable 1-drop. Protects your other stuff from removal, so they have to blow up Giver of Runes before they can blow anything else up. We are passing another Boros land, but at this rate, we're seeing like every single Boros land in the cube. During pack 2. Gotta take some creatures. Flame Slash or Paulo Vitor Damo Dorosa. I got a lot of non-creatures. Let's grab Paulo. Wield the Lelia. Wield the Virtue of Loyalty that I wasn't even paying attention to. There's another 2-drop. Wield Inspiring Vantage. Wield the Sunbillow Verge. Good lord. I got the hard read on this draft pod. I'm like, listen, I've been having too much fun, drafting too much blue, playing too many combo-y, tinkery, nonsensy things. Maybe now is the time that we gotta be the fun police, because it's open to be the fun police. It was wide open. It was astronomically open to be the fun police here. Didn't get any Moxes or Lotuses here, unfortunately, to super steamroll with Boros, but it's a really, really open deck in this pod. What do we take? Sarah Paragon, probably. Get more creatures. I like that. Pick 2, Swords to Plowshares. Even if it gains your opponent life, it is so efficient that it's worth it even when you are aggro. 1 mana, instant speed, it exiles completely. You give your opponent some life to run Swords. Probably Wheel Showdown of the Scalds. Bunch of really good options here. We got Magda at 2 mana. We do need to fill out the 2 mana slot a little bit more right now. I think than the 3 mana slot, so I kind of want to take Magda. But Adeline spits out just an endless supply of creatures, which is ridiculous. Sage of the Skies, double 2/3 flying lifelinkers is ridiculous. Zenith is ridiculous as well. I'm just going to take the Magna, make sure that we end up getting a 2-drop here, and then any of these 3 drops are really strong, and they're going to come back. At least 2 of them probably are going to come back. Epicure at 1 mana or Portable Hole for removal at 1. Could actually also Ancient Tomb here. We really don't care about losing the life. Our fixing is more than good enough. We could actually Ancient Tomb into like a 3-drop on turn 2 and just haste things out, get damage, and I think our mana base is good enough to run the double colorless. Pick 5. Now Smuggler's Copter is tempting, because I can go Ancient Tomb, Smuggler's Copter, but realistically speaking, Inti's probably the better 2-drop. Card is absurd. Keeps getting counters and trample onto the board and drawing cards when you discard. Yeah, I think Inti's the best here. Hellrider's a good finisher too. Chain Lightning is just another lightning bolt. Take that over Yera and Oski. Although it is worth mentioning Carnage Interpreter as well. If you play this as your last creature, it's pretty ridiculous. Dump the rest of your hand, which is like 0 or 1 card, and then get a bunch of clues. A big creature. Pick 7, Staff of the Storyteller, Suplex. Take a staff. Pretty decent in longer games when your opponent does get a board wipe or 2 off on you. Discharge is really efficient removal. A Demi's a very efficient flash threat. Take more creatures here. Again, I already have more. At this point, I have more creatures and more removal spells than I can afford to run. I'm gonna have to cut a bunch of stuff when we get done with this. Kind of tempted on an Ancient Tomb version of Boros to run Overlord. Get a little bit more top end, particularly at 3 and 4 mana. Run a lot of 3 and 4 mana cards for those Ancient Tomb Surgers in mana, like Showdown of the Scalds now. Not like top end, like 6 drops or anything, but more stuff that can use that double colorless really early and go kind of hard. Hellrider fits that bill. Probably will run the Hellrider again with the Ancient Tomb version of Boros. I'm gonna let somebody have a last pick channel. I hope they accomplish it. I hope they got Eldrazi to go with it. Alright, we gotta cut 11 cards. 11 cards is a lot to cut. I'm gonna do something a little goofy with this one. I'm gonna go a little more top heavy than normal, so we're gonna be on an Ancient Tomb version of this, which means leaving some of these big 4 mana plays like the Overlords in the deck. So I might leave all the 4s and 5s in here even. I mean, I don't know how Legend is really gonna work out. Exile 1 card, then you may draw. Then on chapter 3, it's finally a creature. This is probably slow enough to cut. But we'll run the other 5, 4, and 5 mana cards in the Showdown. We're gonna have to cut a lot of really good cards, no matter how things go here, because we need to cut 10 more cards. So these cuts are certainly going to be contentious. They're going to be a bit nebulous. They're going to be a bit like seasoned to taste. Pick your favorite kind of cards here. We want to run all these 3 drops because they're all really good, particularly the double colorless ones. So cut down on some of the 1s and 2s and play a more top-heavy version of Boros. Again, not to the point where I'm playing some kind of big red deck or anything. We're still an aggro deck, but a little less concerned with just spamming cheap cards. So just cut. I think we like the Magda for the treasures then for getting to the higher stuff. Cut 1 of these 2 mana cards. And then Epicure's the worst 1 mana card. Swift Spear might not be great either. I'm going to cut a lot of non-creatures. It's a potential cut, but I'll cut Epicure and Samwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 creatures still? Shoot. Cut one more. Cut the monastery. And then we cut all spells now. Staff's a little slower. We've got Oust and Swords for 1 mana removal, Bolt for 1 mana removal. Helix or Chain Lightning better? Instant Speed's a pretty big deal. Plus Lightning Helix gains life. I think I'm going to go Helix over Chain Lightning. Virtue might be a little slower too. And we gotta cut something. Emperor's slightly better on the defense. Cut that. Absence is 2 mana removal versus these 4 and 1 mana removals. Collapse it, maybe 0. This Overlord is removal as well. Fury is removal as well. Maybe I can cut the Collapse too. One final cut. Maybe Hellrider. We don't have any, like... We have one piece of token production. We have one Adeline. But everybody else is just one creature at a time. Well, Overlord of the Mistmores is also some tokens. I think I've already cut about as many 1 and 2 mana cards as I really can afford to cut here. So it's cutting one of our 3s or 4s. Hellrider just looks the most cuttable out of all these cards. I could drop my 17th land, but we have an Air Temple. One of our lands is a mana sink, and we are playing, you know, big 4 or 5 mana cards we're wanting to hit. This is the Hellkite also at 5. We have a little bit of discard to draw between Inti and the FOMO to ditch extra lands as well. I'm going to drop the Hellrider. Call it a deck here. Double check the mana base, though. We're on an exactly even split, so there we go. There's an exactly even split. This is actually one more white source than red because of Air Temple. So we can't have a perfectly even split. White is more important on turn 1. Okay. Yeah, one more white source than red sources. Call it a deck there, hop into the gameplay, and just hop on that Boros train and see if we can't ride that to victory here. No white in the opener is awkward. We have 11 white sources. This is greedy, but I'm going to keep it on the draw with 11 white sources. There you go. Give her runes, turn 1. Mana Titty. God dang it. Alright. Goodbye, Giver. Blue-white control from our opponent. Aha, you can't tithe me this time. My ancient tomb mana saves me. I don't know why I played the tomb there instead of just a mountain. I can bolt the Mentor and play the Paragon. Unless they daze it. Just play the Giver runes from grave. Main phase 2 showdown after they have spent their mana clearing out Sarah Paragon or something here. Wan Shi Tong, a 4/4 flashed in blocker. Gross. Well, here's Showdown. Hello there. If I had a single spell in hand, I could Fury out, kill the Wan Shi Tong with the Evoke. Lauren, blow up the Showdown. And then drop a Ragavan. Dash a Ragavan. Sure. Trade. Come on, a red card off the top. It's all mana. Do I have 8 mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do. I can actually do both things. I should have played a land from exile. That was incorrect. Okay, it all works out anyway. They scoop them up. We're 1-0 heading to game 2. Game 2 on the play. Turn 2, follow. Hold up Swords to Plowshares on 1. Vivi, Goldspan Dragon, Palantir, Cauldra. Just hit the Vivi and then their hand is super slow. Haste out the Phoenix. Drop the Palantir. I get hit for 1. My lack of a duel here is rough. I can't play Paragon or Overlord or anybody. Let's FOMO. Ditch the Overlord to draw a card, because I'm running one more white source, so I'm more likely to get to Paragon than Overlord. Find Helix. Land 4. Still not enough to play a creature in their opener, but they probably drew a creature by now for 4 or less, or at least a removal spell. Karn is a creature. Karn's a little 2/2 blocker here.
Our actions determine the course of history. There is great power in the things we make.
Fury that away. Shoots planeswalkers as well. Yeah, let's Fury it and save swords. Take 5, go to 8. NT is the draw. I have lethal on board with Fury, correct? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 3. Yes. One, 2, 3, 4.
This will not deter me.
7 damage. They're at 3. 3 damage. They're dead. That is 2-0, heading to game 3. Here we are on the play for game 3. We don't actually play anything till turn 3, but I'll still keep this hand. Tamio turn 1. I don't really want to Fury Tamio. It could be worth it though. Tamio's guaranteed for a 2-for-1 either way. Either Tamio draws them another card and makes me spend removal, or Tamio makes me discard a card and spend removal. Yeah, it's not fun either way. I'm gonna Fury the Tamio. Get that card draw engine out of here immediately. Playing against blue-red, there's Retrofitter Foundry. Reprieve doesn't do anything against. There's Ancient Tomb, which doesn't do anything yet. Unless we want to play around Days. Wrath of God and the One Ring. Well, they don't have double white, so I guess we're taxing the One Ring. We also only have 1 creature for the Wrath anyway. There's a Demi now. Flashing in a Demi and then maybe reprieving a Wrath here? They're gonna get a 1/1 flyer against our 3/1 flyer. I still didn't hit the second white. Yeah, we're probably flashing in a Demi then. Sack it, get their flyer. That's the white mana for the Wrath. I can reprieve this to draw a card because I think I'm actually going to activate Air Temple on my attack next turn. If I reprieve this, they can go land 5 as island, spend 2 mana to play the Talisman, and then the extra 3 plus Talisman cast Wrath next turn anyway. Yeah, I can't reprieve this. Which means I can't attack with Spellbinder because I can't afford to activate Air Temple instead of using Reprieve. Retrieve the One Ring, draw a card. There's Overlord. I believe we cast this Overlord impended, or I just hold on to it. I might could also just hold on to it. I don't actually hate that. I overtapped. Genius I am. They go to 10. I feel like I'm gonna get demolished by this one ring. They can only play one or the other. They're gonna go for the Wrath here. That's actually pretty fine. They basically spend 2 removal spells to remove our 2 creatures then. Spend them all 1 for 1. But then here comes the one ring. Instead, they tap out to kill the Overlord. Sad. Oh my god, what a draw. Haster. Go, go, go. And into Lightning Bolt, dude! That's illegal, dude. What the heck? We shouldn't have won that game. They could, yeah. What the heck? Average draws from our deck from there on. Their hand has the tools to protect itself with the Wrath and the One Ring there, but good lord. Top deck Lelia Bolt. I guess I had a lot more outs than I thought once I hit the Lelia for just insta-lethal. Because it wasn't just Bolt. It could have been Bolt or Helix or Flage with 3 insta-lethal draws potentially off Lelia. That was so stupid. Alright, well, we're 3-0 heading into game 4. Alright, here we are for game 4. Pretty controlling hand. Swords and Reprieve. Chillin'. Gonna keep it regardless. Pyrite Spellbomb. Starts the game from our opponents. They can deal 2 to any targets. My first creature's got 3 toughness. Good thing he's got a big booty. Boros mirror match. Okay, do we just hold Reprieve in this matchup? Or run out of FOMO? I'm just gonna hold Reprieve here. I wouldn't hate FOMO discard Giver. Virtue of Loyalty. Get their Knight token and they get the big 5/5 thing later. Well, I'll reprieve that and draw my card. Find Arid Mesa. They play Urz's Bauble. They see our Overlord coming up on turn 4. It's the Ancient Tomb. It's actually just run out the Overlord as a creature soon. Mesa for Plateau. Good Fear of Missing Out and Giver of Runes. If I fear missing out discarding Detective's Phoenix, I'm at Delirium's. That's tempting. And then I'm also discarding a card that could come back later with the Collect Evidence ability. Yeah, I think running out Giver and just getting the Spellbomb out of the way is better than holding up a Swords to Plowshares I'm just not going to cast. Okay, they have the lightning bolt too. Skull clamp. So now if I kill that token, they draw 2, so I'm probably going to have to swords it, which is awkward. They could respond to me trying to swords it by spellbombing their own creature, I guess. We get to keep Giver of Runes if that's the case. Drawing Nova Hellkite might make it worth it to let them draw 2 off Skull Clamp, because now we can kill it without even spending a card. That feels pretty worth it. Okay, they're gonna reprieve that? Well, never mind, I guess. And I will swords the token, and he will draw nothing. Surprised they were willing to reprieve that. 6 toughness! 6 toughness! That thing's so big, so chunky. I gotta kill everything they play. I don't want to oust it and have them redraw it, because its enter is so big. Not how I wanted to do this, but I think it's necessary. I've got the evidence now for the Phoenix. And kill the Giver of Runes. They can have a 3/3 on the crackback. I think I have to not attack here. Just play my blocker. Because they could go like sack Skull Clamp, attack with a 3/3, spellbomb me. I'm down to 5 if I don't hold up the blocker. If I do, they can spend the 3/3 and the spellbomb to kill it. Uh-oh. They got a bolt, too? God. It's bad. And if I try to kill that, they sack it and make another one anyway. Because that's instant speed. They just sack the 3/3, make a 3/3. So we can't do anything here. Go to 4. Play the Virtue. It'll be a one-shot kill. And it's out of reach of Flage. But now that I draw Flage, I can oust this. They make a 3/3. I then Flage the 3/3. And then they have no creatures on board for the Virtue, and I have an active Overlord of the Boiler Bilges, followed by an escaped Flage the turn after this. It seems potentially winning here, depending on their top deck. If they draw a land, we definitely win. GG? Oh my god, GG. Yep, there's GG from opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Choose the low mana value card so that I can haste with Detective's Phoenix here. And then it might... I don't think it's lethal this turn, but okay, yeah, they concede. But it might. It's an insane amount of damage. So I still have the evidence now to Phoenix onto the Flage. We Phoenix onto the Flage, that's 8 power with haste. They're at 21. 8 hasting damage. We attack for 13, plus 4 from Overlord, plus 3 from Flage. So 13 plus 7. We're attacking for 20. They would be at 1 life after this turn. Good lord, and we'd be at 13 from the Flage triggers. These cards are phenomenal. That was a crazy game of Magic. I did not think we were getting out of that one either, but that's been pretty standard for most of these games recently. That is 4-0, I believe. Super quickly as we head into game number 5. Here we are on the play for game 5. Standard Boros curve out here, no 1-drop for it though. Inti into Lelia into Overlord. Mulligan from our opponent. They're on a loot tree deck, so they can copy an instant or sorcery later in the game for a bunch of mana. 3 mana to put loot tree in hand, then another 3 to try to get the copy. Hushwood Verge, Delighted Halfling to ramp here. Always bolt the bird. I'm gonna kill their mana here. Black source now. Not the colors I was expecting from Lutri. White of the Reliquary. +1/+1 for each creature in their graveyard. Sack another to search for a land. So that's just going to trade into Lelia here. To stop that from happening. I think I should offer the Lelia trade here and get white out of here before they like play a token and ramp in the same turn. That would just be really bad for me. So the trade should be fine if they take it. And if they don't, then that's good too, because then we have a big old Lelia coming in. Demonic Tutor, that cannot possibly be good for me. Find their best card in library, put it into hand. Zagoth Triumph. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they tutored for. That still helps them get to the rest of their hand really well. Unlocks both of their Verges. Now they've got super good mana. It's a fairy. Well, flash in a demi. Well, I still can.
I can no longer stand by and watch.
They bounce the Inti, and then a demi's gonna kill Teferi. Unless they have 0 mana removal like Snuff Out, and I guess Flage will kill Teferi.
I suppose that's how it was meant to happen.
Put the loot tree in hand. We are not finding our second red, and that's not good. I think I still have to play all my lands out because of the air temple on board. Vinestock takes 5 mana, so they can't block with Vinestock. Inti trigger, discarding a Phoenix to draw a card. Find Elite Spellbinder. They could respond by removal spell Lutri and do the double removal. That is the play. So that'll clear our board. They have Atraxa, Woodfall Primus, Time Spiral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. That's 8 mana, that's 8 mana. Oh, Atraxa's only 7 mana, not 8. So we hit Atraxa here, I think. Time Spiral could be bad for us too, and it's the most immediately castable. But if I hit Time Spiral and they just draw land, then we die to Atraxa hard. I feel like I'm supposed to hit Atraxa here, and if they go land Time Spiral, it's not great, but I get a full grip of 7 as well. I'm assuming they have ways to cheat these out, to where if like they Time Spiral, they could hit like Reanimator spell type stuff and go crazy. I can see the Time Spiral. I'm not happy with that. But it's probably a better idea than hitting Atraxa. Magda gives me the second red I need for Flager Overlord. I'm not going to Swords of Lutri against a deck with reanimation targets. I'll just let them kill the Magda here. We saw their whole hand, so they only have the one card they top decked here for a chance to kill Flage. And it was removal for Flage. Okay, it's a good draw. Next draw is the land, so they're one land from the Atraxa. Well, not if they do that. I'm giving them a bunch more life, but keeping them away from Atraxa this way. That's not my red. Just need to find my second red source. God dang it, they drew another land and it surveils towards the Atraxa. They milled Darkslick because it's a tap land, okay. Come on, Mountain. What is happening? I'm on like 11 white and 11 red, I think. It might be 11-10. It's 11-10. Just get to the Atraxa before we can do anything because we can't hit our second red. That's so rough. Now we just lose. Because they draw a fresh grip. Yep, full 7-card hand. Which is why I was okay swordsing to try to keep them off Atraxa, because even if the swords can hit the Atraxa, we lose if they resolve it anyway, because they just get a full new hand. Man, our mana base really demolished us this game. If we had second red on curve, we would have won. And that's kind of all we could have done, was just draw better lands. It's super disappointing. I think I made the right choice of stalling the the time spiral. Because if they time spiral, drew a fresh hand, and they had like a flash hand, a flash Primus or flash Atraxa, then we do just lose. Good old land off the top. Now they just metamorph Atraxa. Okay, yeah, I'm not. I'm leaving. I don't need to see anymore. Here we are for game number 6. We are 4-1 right now. Double Overlord is a little slow, but we're on the play to speed it up. And if they don't interact with a turn 2 Magda, we can play 1 on 3 and 1 on 4. Fellow red deck is definitely going to interact with this Magda to get that Ragavan through, but do what we can. If I just pass and hold Reprieve up, we're just guaranteeing they hit with Ragavan. And start working on their treasure. Okay. Really lucky they just did not have the interaction there. Send in the Magna, drop an Overlord. Honestly, either Overlord resolving would be more than good enough here. Maybe I should have went for the Mistmoors and had the 2/2/1 flyers, because if they had removal, they would have killed Magna and attacked. So then they need double removal to get Ragavan through. And the 6 mana Overlord's easier to cast than the 7 mana for like hard casting one later. So I could have seen that as being the thing. Although the game playing out like this means I'm just going to 4 mana impending this as well. Just a bunch of impending doom. Umezawa's Jitte, they're stuck on 2 mana. The fear of missing out. Ditch Vantage. Yeah, no, I'll ditch Vantage. We could hit a 3 mana card like a Lelia or something. We did not. This doesn't do anything until after the creature deals combat damage. So we would kill it before it gets to use the charge counters. Honestly, Umezawa's Jitte is one of those cards that's like a classic card that you hear about all the time. I feel like this card has been power crept out by now. It doesn't look that appealing to me, but I never played it in its heyday. I haven't played it or cast it that often, but every time I look at it, I'm like, this doesn't really seem quite powered cube worthy. I guess, you know, for being a classic, for being iconic and well known, could be. But 4 mana before you get your first charge counter on this thing. Getting 2 charge counters per hit is good, but yeah. I mean, this would still certainly be a bomb rare in any draft format if it were added to any draft format nowadays, but not quite cube. Not quite cube anymore. Anyways, our opponent was just astronomically stuck on mana, so there was not a lot to that game. And we are 5-1, guaranteed in the money out of this draft, no matter where things go from here. Here we are on the play for game number 7. We got Arid Mesa into Plateau again. Very nice. Turn 2, Reprieve or Inti. Probably just Inti. I should just grab the Sacred Foundry, since I don't need it on tap now. That way I don't end up top decking a Sacred Foundry. Instead, I would have a chance of top decking a Plateau. Please do not cut down my Inti. Mono black so far from opponent. Harvester of Misery. Well, they didn't cut down my Inti. There is that. We gotta find our second red. Again. We got 9 more red sources in here. 8 more, we cracked a fetch. Flager Bronco. Still playing lands for turn with Air Temple out. I was a little tempted to hold that for FOMO. To discard that instead. But I don't think I have time to be skipping land drops this early. Or I can afford to be skipping land drops this early. Play an Esper Sentinel, hold up a Reprieve, or play a FOMO, hold up a Reprieve? Play Sentinel Reprieve. Sentinel's really good with Air Temple, if we get the mana. I don't really want to discard any of these cards to fear missing out, so that's why I'm going Sentinel Reprieve. Reprieve the Bowmasters and have them spend mana during their next turn on it. But that is really good against Esper Sentinel, unfortunately. It's also really good against Fear Missing Out. It's really good against Reprieve. Bowmasters showing up in the Powered Cube on Arena for the first time in this iteration. Immediately a top 5 card in the whole cube, honestly. I guess top 5 non-power 9. But once you're done like with taking like... That's fun. Once you're done with taking cards like Black Lotus and the Moxes and stuff, Orcish Bowmasters is really high up there, I think. We just got Mind Twisted out of the game, which happens. We'll still play it out. We've got a Flage that's fully active in Grave now, and we've got the Hellkite for Bowmasters, so... Not completely over, but that Mind Twist was obviously terrible. That thing ripped the chess advantage meter way in our opponent's favor. This is fine as long as Bowmasters dies. Get a little 2-for-1. We do still have a lot of live draws in this deck. Lelia and Showdown of the Skalds would be the best when you're empty-handed, because they both draw a bunch of cards. Magda's not that good. Particularly because I can't play Flage and Magda. Exile the lowest mana value 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think we kill the token instead of shooting their face, because we are a deck with 1 toughness cards like Magda. That would need to break through that creature. As long as they can't exile Flage, Kind of okay with Flage dying. That doesn't exile Flage. It'll be a while till we recast again, but it's great value for us. Ooh, Liliana Plus is rude.
Something suspicious is going on.
Because I didn't have triple... If I had triple red, we would be completely safe from Liliana Plus, but...
Don't overthink things.
That's life. There it is! The Faded! The triple red! I think it's better, even though triple red is useful if I draw a red card the turn after this, I think it's better to hold it in hand so I can put a 5th card in my grave than it is to play it out. Because the 5th card gets Flage to the board. If we don't draw anything relevant.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Plus got a cut down out of their hand. Oh god, Baragorf wins so fast. That lifelink is absolutely massive. We haven't drawn our swords or our oust this game, so we do have removal that could get it. Detective's Phoenix is not removal that could get it, so we trade a 6/6 into it then. Nope, they just minus Liliana now. Yikes, man. Yikes. Guess we cast Phoenix and put Liliana to 3. Threatening recast Flage kill Liliana next turn, let them gain 1,000,000. Alright. I mean, this is the same game that we got Mind Twisted to no cards in hand, so...
You know, I think you look better.
Them getting a bunch of life gain to be fully stable here is fine in the grand scheme of things. We just treat this like it's turn 1 again. We're at parity, trying to dig our way out of this. Dig our way back into a lead. Shieldred to their hand now.
One of your friends has to leave.
Mountain, please.
Whatever. Luck favors the foolish, after all.
There's the bone shards, put us to like 1 here. If we had Ouster swords before they got a single Barrogoyf attack, we still would have won off of the Overlord draw, shoot face, Flage, shoot face, but didn't have the removal at the right time there. Yeah. You got me. Strong deck from our opponent. Really nice mono black stuff. Well played as well. But I think that was still a winnable matchup. Just didn't line up in our favor that time. 5-2 heading to game 8. We found our mountains. Alright. Start with a 6-card hand this game. Don't play any creatures till turn 3. I'm not in love with it, but I cannot mulligan down from here, that's for sure. It's perfectly reasonable. Flooded Strand. Pretty controlling colors potentially, but the oh Jesus Christ, turn 1 exploration from our opponent. Yikes. FOMO ditch the Helix, because now they're playing like 3 mana or bigger creatures. Don't know how well Helix is gonna do at clearing those out. So they could have 4 mana this turn. Oh, Time Twister. Its exploration is pretty good. And then a Mana Dork 2. Play Giver and Helix now. I still explore. They can play lands from grave, but they have no lands in grave, so that's just a 2/4. Which we can swords. We'll Spellbinder and then swords that. Eight mana card. Triple blue card. Tameo, Bill, Nissa. So Nissa and Jace are the scariest. Nissa's probably the #1 scariest because it blocks the most out of all this stuff. Jace doesn't do any blocking, so we don't really care. Now let's hit Nissa. Swords the Explorer holding on to Oust. Because I can oust something gigantic like a Craterhoof without gaining them a bajillion. Here's Jace. Mill 2, draw a card. Does hit a land. We miss our Fury mana. Adeline, hold up the bolts. I can do 7 to their face. I think we allow Jace to hang out. I really do. And I probably should have hit them with Giver of Runes last turn as well, because we didn't see any interaction in their hands unless they top-decked one. This wouldn't have mattered. Bristlebill. Malevolent Rumble. Gives them an 0/1 blocker. Fury can kill both these blockers and I can bolt the face. Okay, now I can't kill all the blockers. We have lethal damage on board. I bolt that and then Fury the rest. Although I need to... Okay, they're already scooping. I need to draw onto any land to cast the Fury or any red card to evoke it. But they're over it regardless. That is 6-2 now. We've made it all the way to the final boss, but we have faltered along the way. We've only got 1 attempt at getting a trophy run with this deck, and it's a really sweet one. So fingers crossed here, we can trophy with this, because if any Boros deck is going to trophy, it'd probably be this one. We are 6-2, heading into that final battle. And here we are on the draw for the final game of Magic for today. We got Plunderer and Magna for little mana dorks early, then Flage into Paragon. Can't afford to mull that, especially with the duels that we've got here. Gorge into Figure of Destiny. Solid start. Tapped Foundry Pass. There, Naya. I think this is a reasonable hand for the mirror match. with Flage and stuff coming up. Flage the MacD and Itla. Actually gonna lead with Magda over Plunderer because I do not want to give them mana this early. Plus, MacD and Itla makes our treasures come tapped. So the Plunderer is going to be much better for them than me if we both get one. But mine's tapped too. I don't even get the benefit of the untapped treasure. A Johnny. Oh man.
Nothing can break our bond.
Now I think I need to kill a Johnny. Kill a Johnny and then Overlord MacD the turn after this. This card's just devastating if it flips, especially because they have a red permanent. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get a cat and kill a creature every turn because they have a red permanent. I've got the 4 mana for everybody, so I might just be holding Magda here. I think I am. They could make Figure 4/4, and then I have Overlord for that next turn. Minskin, but what is happening?
Boo and I are ready to rumble! He will never
Cube is happening.
stomp out evil.
I mean, you've certainly got me. Yeah, we would have had to been on the play to have even close to a chance.
I don't like them. It's like
That was
eating
curve out and a half. No combination of these spells comes close to surviving this board. Alright, 6 and 3 it is. Taste of our own medicine there. Multiple of just the best, just explosive damage cards in the whole cube in a row. A Johnny plus Minskin Boo. Figure of Destiny leveling up. MacD shutting off our blocks. On the play with that curve out too. Gross. Alright, yeah. 6 and 3 it is. I am so disappointed. It's hard to be disappointed with a 6-win run. But this draft was basically perfect. I think the deck was really, really good. I think we had some rough variance going for us in terms of our land draws, because it felt like the first 2 losses were partially caused by we were frequently not hitting double red. We're an 11-10 split. Right? Like the only thing that we could change is be 11-11, 11 red sources, 11 white sources by not running the Ancient Tomb, but I think it was worth it. Ancient Tomb got a lot of our early kills by speeding things out so fast. And I don't think it's unreasonable at all to go for an 11-10 split to run the Ancient Tomb. That's tons of sources of each, but we were just not finding double red in a lot of games of Magic today. Till pretty late. Yeah, this is what it is. I don't remember any huge gameplay errors in any of our losses. Everything felt kind of predestined, but that is part of how things feel when you're playing aggro. It's just like, are you going to draw the big curve out and be on the play and kill them first? Or are you going to be on the draw against their quicker curve out? It's really just like who draws the goods. And sadly enough for us, our opponents drew the goods in a few of those games, so we don't quite get the trophy run, but still think we drafted really well. Still like this version of the deck, this build, the tomb towards the big stuff, a little bit of the treasure stuff. I would maybe change it a little bit. Magda was a kind of underperformer. Maybe run like another Bolt over Magda or something. Maybe a Swift Spear over Magda. We had plenty of powerful cards in the sideboard because of how insanely open Boros was. So we could swap 1 or 2 cards here and there, but I think the general idea was pretty great, pretty happy with the build. Just couldn't quite make it there for us. 6-3 it will be, still a very positive record, still very far in the money, and that's still pretty great up here in the Mythic Cubes. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.